The late Sir Winston Churchill has left his mark in 20th century history for leading Great Britain to victory during both World Wars I and II against great odds. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature for his work the Second World War, and his orations have inspired people from all walks of life. The following is an address to a joint session of Congress given in the Senate chamber in Washington in 1941. Number 2. Address to the United States Congress by Sir Winston Churchill.
I'm a child of the House of Commons. I was brought up in my father's house to believe in democracy. Trust the people. That was his message. I used to see him cheered at meetings and in the streets by crowds of working men way back in those aristocratic Victorian days when, as Disraeli said, the world was for the few and for the very few. Therefore, I have been in full harmony all my life with the tides which have flowed on both sides of the Atlantic against privilege and monopoly, and I have steered confidently towards the Gettysburg ideal of government of the people, by the people, for the people. I owe my advancement entirely to the House of Commons, whose servant I am. In my country and in yours, public men are proud to be the servants of the state and would be ashamed to be its masters. On any day, if they thought the people wanted it, the House of Commons could by a simple vote remove me from my office. But I'm not worrying about it at all. As a matter of fact, I am sure they will approve very highly of my journey here, for which I obtained the King's permission, in order to meet the President of the United States and to arrange with him for all that mapping out of our military plans and for all those intimate meetings of the high officers of the armed services in both countries, which are indispensable to the successful prosecution of the war.
Ever since her coronation in 1953, Queen Elizabeth has played an important role as sovereign of Great Britain. A well-known proverb states, "An Englishman's house is his castle." Englishmen have traditionally cherished their homes, and the Queen is no exception. Her Majesty is of the opinion that unhappiness is caused by the corruption of family life. This idea is well expressed in the following speech, which she made at Christmas time. Number 3. Queen Elizabeth's message to the Commonwealth.
To all of us, there is nothing quite like the family gathering in familiar surroundings, centered on the children whose festival this truly is, in the traditional atmosphere of love and happiness that springs from the enjoyment of simple, well-tried things. When it is night and wind and rain beat upon the window, the family is most conscious of the warmth and peacefulness that surround the pleasant fireside. So our Commonwealth hearth becomes more precious than ever before by the contrast between its homely security and the storm which sometimes seems to be brewing outside in the darkness of uncertainty and doubt that envelops the whole world. In the turbulence of this anxious and active world, many people are leading uneventful, lonely lives. To them, dreariness, not disaster, is the enemy. They seldom realize that on their steadfastness, on their ability to withstand the fatigue of dull, repetitive work, and on their courage in meeting constant small adversities, depend in great measure the happiness and prosperity of the community as a whole. When we look at the landscape of our life on this earth, there is in the minds of all of us a tendency to admire the peaks and to ignore the foothills and the fertile plain from which they spring. We praise, and rightly, the heroes whose resource and courage shine so brilliantly in moments of crisis. We forget sometimes that behind the wearers of the Victoria or George Cross there stand ranks of unknown, unnamed men and women, willing and able, if the call came, to render valiant service. We are amazed by the spectacular discoveries in scientific knowledge, which should bring comfort and leisure to millions. We do not always reflect that these things also have rested to some extent on the faithful toil and devotion to duty of the great bulk of ordinary citizens. The upward course of a nation's history is due, in the long run, to the soundness of heart of its average men and women.